What's up, guys? Today's video I'm going to show you how to grow the absolute best, the absolute strongest, and the absolute tallest Egyptian wheat possible. There's absolutely techniques and tricks to growing an annual screen such as Egyptian wheat. There's many products out there, but there's tips and there's some tricks you can do to grow the absolute best. Growing the absolute best Egyptian wheat does require a little bit of effort on your part. You have to put in the work to reap the rewards. Also in this video, I'm going to share with you one common mistake that people actually do with growing their Egyptian wheat, but it actually hurts them. But before we get started, if you guys want to learn this technique, learn how to become better food plot and land managers, make sure you subscribe down below. If you did prep the soil, you're just one step ahead of everybody else. If you did not prep the soil, it's not really a big deal because we'll just take that Egyptian wheat and plant it just a little bit later into the season. Regardless if you prepped or didn't prep, it's always best to use a soil sample because Egyptian wheat takes a lot of nutrients because it's got those big stalks in there, and those stalks suck up a lot of nutrients, and it is an annual screen. So at the end of the year, it will fall down, but we need to make it the best as we possibly can because, like I said, it is an annual screen. Annuals grow for 1 year, then die off. Perfectly fine, because that's what it is. It's an annual. So the reason I use it and the reason you can use it is for temporary screening. Say you have a leased property and you only have it for 1 year, plant some Egyptian wheat. Say you have a big field, you kind of want to divide that up a little bit, make it look smaller, use Egyptian wheat. After you have your soil sample completed, you obviously want to take care of that with your lime and fertility levels. So what you want to do is you want to disc that area where you plan on planting Egyptian wheat. Now, a little tip for that is you can plant this later in the season, whether you prepped or didn't prep. But if you plant it later into the season, it tends not to get as tall. And when it's actually super tall in those harsh conditions of winter, since it is so tall, it does have the capability of falling over earlier than it actually should. Depending what part of the world you're in, you can plant this in June, you can plant it in July. In some cases, you can actually plant it in early August. It doesn't really matter. It just really depends when you're getting the good weather conditions. You've prepped that area and you've done that soil sample in order to have the best possible Egyptian wheat. Typically what I do is I'll spray that area with some glyphosate and 2,4-D maybe 2 weeks prior. And once that all dies off, I'll come back through, disc it in, and I'll seed my Egyptian wheat. Typically, when I'm planting my incognito, it's basically around 11 pounds per acre. Now, some manufacturers or companies, it may differ a little bit, but typically, in general, it's about 11 pounds per acre. Now, if you have a lot of turkeys in the area, then you may want to use an extra pound or two, but you don't want to go crazy with using too much because it'll shunt each other. When you have too many seeds in there per acre, it'll actually stunt the Egyptian wheat and it won't grow as thick stalks and as tall. After you did the soil sample, after you sprayed, after you disked the ground, spread your Egyptian wheat seed, 11 pounds per acre, drag it, roll it, cover it up, whatever you got to do, and you'll just let it grow. Hopefully you can time this before a good rainstorm. That way it gets moisture and it can germinate right away. If you've done it right and you prep the ground and you have good fertility levels and good moisture, that's the main thing is moisture, your Egyptian wheat should be up within 5 days. This is a very important tip. After that 5 days, you're good to go. It's coming up. You should be fine. You just let this go for approximately 30 to 45 days. And what you want to do is you want to come in with triple 19. Okay, triple 19 at the 30 to 45 day mark at 100 pounds per acre. Now, when you broadcast this over top of the Egyptian wheat, make sure the leaves are actually dry. So do this later in the afternoon after the dew is burned off the leaves because triple 19 does have some nitrogen in there. And if that nitrogen pellets stick to those leaves, it will burn holes in it. I really don't think we want holes burned in Egyptian wheat. It's like taking a magnifying glass, like when we used to do when we were kids, and kind of like burning ants and burning a hole through a piece of paper. It's exactly what happens. The sun hits that, you got the moisture on there, it dissolves, and it just burns holes in it. So once we broadcast this triple 19, keyword triple 19, on top of the Egyptian wheat seeds, hopefully you can time that as well before a rain. We're at the 30 to 45 day mark. It should be up about 2 feet or so, 2.5 feet. You're good to go. You're on the right track. The reason you have to do this is, like I said, those stalks suck up a lot of nutrients in the ground, especially if it's the first year of planting. Your ground's, your soil's not 100% correct yet, It just takes a lot of nutrients, so hitting it with that triple 19 is a boost. I see people on social media crying that their Egyptian wheat falls down when it snows, you know, into the winter months. Well, it's an annual. Use it for what it is. It's an annual. It's going to fall down. But usually what happens is, by the time it falls down into those months of like January or December, hunting season's coming to an end. So why do you need a screen? You don't need it there anymore. It's done. It's an annual. So use it for what it is. Now, if you're in states, you know, far up north where you get massive amounts of snowfall, realize that, and realize that Egyptian wheat may not be your best bet. If you get snowfall in October and November, where hunt season is at its prime. If any of you guys are planting Egyptian wheat, I'd love to know your success on it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how it works out for you if you enjoy planting it. I personally plant it every single year. Now at this time, we're getting into the 60 and 70 day mark. Egyptian wheat typically has a maturity rate of about 120 days. It's going to develop seed heads. Now if you plant it later into the summer, by the time hunting season gets, you know, comes around, it gets cool out and stuff, it may not have time to develop seed heads. So that could be a good thing, because if it has, you know, heavy tops, it will have a tendency to fall down. Also, I dropped a comment down below, pinned to the top of another video about Egyptian wheat. It's going to really help you out, so give it a watch down below. Reasons to use Egyptian wheat is, you know, to screen your access, to access your bow stand, to divide fields, to divide a road, block a road off from poachers. It works very well. Yes, it's going to fall down at the end of the year, and typically what you do at the end of the year is you just let it fall. You can come back over it with a mower the following year. If you don't have a mower, just let it fall down, come back in later on, and when you're ready to plant it again, you just disc all that green manure back in. If you ever notice, when you plant Egyptian wheat and you look up the soil, when it's done the following year, it's just really black, because it really adds a lot of compost into the soil. Now in the beginning of this video, I did tell you I was going to give you a tip on what to do and how to prevent a major failure with Egyptian wheat. That tip is, do not, I repeat, absolutely do not use pure urea, pure nitrogen 4600 in your Egyptian wheat. Reason being, okay, you know, Egyptian wheat requires a lot of nitrogen, yes, but it also requires potassium. The potassium in your fertilizer is what grows the thick stalks. You need stalk strength for stability. Stability is going to hold that plant up for longer periods of time. I've seen this over and over, is guys will use straight urea because that's what they've always been told, to use urea, just like corn, you know, use a lot of urea on corn to get it to grow. Well, when you use that, it will give it a boost and it will make it grow really tall. The taller it is, the more tendency it does to have the fall over. That's why I recommend it to you guys to use triple 19 at 100 pounds per acre, because you're giving it the potassium and you're encouraging it to get that potassium in there to grow those strong stalks. That's what we need, guys. Another thing too with that is when you add too much of something else, it throws everything else off. You got to have a balance with it. I don't know the scientifics to it, but when you start adding too much of something, okay, in this case we're talking nitrogen, when you add too much nitrogen, it also throws off other chemical compounds in that soil and the plant and stuff, and it can really mess you up. Is this a life or death situation? No. But if you follow these tips and tricks and habits of doing things the proper way, doing soil samples, you'll have the best of everything. And that's really what this channel is about, is helping you prevent errors and helping you get the most out of your money, having the best results, so we can all attract and grow bigger deer. And if you guys really want to become a better food plotter and a better wildlife manager, watch this video right here. It's going to help you out a lot.